It feels like we haven't done a proper garden catch up in a while. So today I'm going to take you around my garden and I'm going to show you some things that are going on, some wins, some failures, some things that I need to do, and just some garden thoughts that mostly gardeners will appreciate. Today is honestly the perfect day, and I am going to start with the rain. May here in central Indiana has been, I don't know that it has been a record for rain, but it definitely has been full of water. I have not had to do much watering for my things that are in the ground, and that's always a great thing. I welcome the rain, but also it limits me on the things that I can do outside because I cannot be working in the rain. Yes, it sucks that I cannot be working outside, but I'll take the rain over any drought any day. And a lot of this month has been catching up basically. After the seedling sale happened at the end of April, May just became sort of like the month where I could finally focus on my own space, on my own garden, on my own plants. And I have been organizing, I have been cleaning, I have been weeding. I still have a long ways to go. I still have a huge pile of plants on the back, but I'm just taking it one day at a time. I can only do so much. And it has been really, really nice just, working outside and just getting my hands in the soil and just getting the place where I want it to be, and just getting the spaces, the raised beds, the flower beds ready for what is to come. This year for sure has been the year where at this time of the year, May, things are not even close to where they had been before in past years. And I'm okay with that. There are a lot of things new happening for me. The seedling sale took a lot of my time, so I'm just giving myself a break. I'm just, taking the time to just breathe, rest, and like I said, taking just one day at a time. The community garden is fully planted. Everything that needs to be there, the plants, the structures, the supports, everything that needed to be direct zone, it's done. And it feels so good to say that, because for me, the community garden is a huge part of what plants I'm growing for this year. And that was definitely the space where I concentrated the most right after the seedling sale, mostly because I needed to get my dahlias in the ground. My dahlias that I was growing for my own garden, they were getting a little bit big. I definitely started them on the smaller size, but they were definitely getting a little bit big. And I just needed to get them on the ground. And like I said, the rain did not help. I also did not want to have them on a week where it was just full of rain. I was afraid that, some of my tubers were going to be rotting. So I just wanted to have at least a good few days of somewhat drier conditions before I put everything outside. But right now, at the beginning of June, everything is ready at the community garden, and things are looking like they're going to be really, really good. It's amazing to me how everything looks so small right around this time, but here in a month, things are going to look so different. Now, I did go with a lot of dahlias this year. This year has definitely been the year that I planted the most dahlias, and I dedicated one entire row at the community garden for dahlias, which is about 4 feet wide and 45, 50 feet long, depending from where you're measuring. And I went really close. With my dahlias. I didn't necessarily measure each dahlia for each spacing, but if I have to guess, it will be between 12 to 15 inches apart. And that is close. For a lot of you that grow dahlias commercially, that is close. But I just watched a video from a guy in Canada. I'm gonna put his information in somewhere. And I just watched a video that he posted of him planting all of his dahlias. His 980 some dahlias that he had. And I was amazed at how close he has them, which is making me think that next year I am going to go even a little bit closer. Not necessarily as close as he has them, but the cool thing is that he goes from sprout to sprout. So he's not worried about the space from each tuber to each tuber. He's going from sprout. So I could do that next year, and I could definitely have more space for dahlias if I go that close. But I am going to see how they do this year with the spacing that I gave them. And if they do well, I'm just going to push them a little bit more next year. The biggest thing for me is space, because I don't have plenty of it. I don't have acres of land where I can just, add rows and rows for the plants that I want to grow. So the little space that I have, I definitely have to maximize it. If you grow dahlias, how close have you been successful at planting them? Like really, really close? Let me know in the comments. My foxgloves this year are honestly, they're having their moment. They are thriving right now. Every time I walk outside, I feel like they get even more beautiful than the day before. And foxgloves, I'm looking at them right now. Foxgloves are one of those flowers that for me just give that space a touch of magic. They just make the room feel, they just make that area feel more magical. I don't have a lot of them in my garden. I have a few here and there, but what I'm thinking is that this fall I am going to be planting, or I'm going to be starting a bunch of foxgloves from seed. I'll probably, I still don't know about the timing, but I'll probably want to start them sometime in July to keep them growing until, I don't know, maybe September, and planting them in September. I have to check my timing on that, but I want to see if I can get them nicely and vigorous for spring blooming next year. So I normally am not one that does a lot of fall planting for anything really. So it's going to be interesting to see how well they do. I think they will make it for sure. I know that they will make it, but I just have to get my timing right with that. I mean, they look beautiful. I believe that the ones that I have in my garden are the Dalmatian peach. They're just magnificent, you guys. And they have been blooming for quite a while now. The bees, the pollinators love them. I'm looking at that way because that's where I have like a bunch in the corner, but they're just, I just love foxgloves. I just love them. Now, one thing that I have to make sure that I do quickly here, at least in the next week or two, is to finish pruning my boxwoods. I have a lot of boxwood hedges. I have a bunch of them here and there in different areas. But right now, right at this time of the year, they just push a bunch of new growth for the spring. And I normally just fertilize them once a year. I give them, early in the year, I give them a little bit of fertilizer. Any kind of slow release, balanced fertilizer works well for boxwoods. I actually paid one of my teenagers a good $10 for him to go, and I bought the huge bags of Spoma, I believe it's the plant food type of fertilizer, and I bought the big bags because I have plenty of boxwoods. And I paid him $10 to go and distribute all the fertilizer around those. And I showed him the right way to do it, or at least the way that I like to do it. And I got that done. So those are done. But because of the rain, the amount of rain that we have been getting, the nice temperatures that are happening now, and the fertilizer, they're just pushing you grow. So I have to make sure that I finish going around pruning all of those that it still need a good prune, and calling it goods. And just like fertilizer, I only do it once a year. I feel like the major pruning that my boxwoods get is around this time of year, May, June. And I probably won't touch them again until maybe even September. They don't really need it. They stay nice and small wherever I cut them. But if we get lots of rain, there are some years where they just give another big push, and I have to somewhat contain them. But I also have been having a little bit of anxiety, if I'm being honest, with my boxwoods. And I know that in other places, the disease, the pests that are attacking the boxwoods are like almost getting out of control. And that was definitely something that was in my mind when I started adding a bunch of boxwood hedges, boxwood structures to my own garden. But it was never something that I was afraid that it was going to hit me that soon. And unfortunately, in the last couple of years, I have seen more people post about, their boxwoods getting eaten by this or getting hit by that. And I just know that it's here. I just know that it's coming. I personally have not seen anything around my boxwoods. I haven't seen any signs that I should be worried about something, taking them down. But I know that when that happens, it's going to be a sad year for me because I have a lot of hedges. I have a lot of structures, like I said, that are made of boxwoods, and I just love boxwoods. I just think that they're a classic piece of evergreen plant that is just it's such a nice statement in any garden. Yeah, I would love to leave me a comment if you have lost any boxwoods, but you know what? Don't leave me any comments because I'm just going to feel bad. I'm just going to feel bad for you. And on the subject of sad notes, I lost a shrub this year and it didn't come back. It was perfect. It was healthy for the past, I don't know, I was trying to remember when I planted that thing there. For the past 12, 13 years that it had been in that spot, it loved it. It thrived. It got huge. It was the perfect shrub for that corner. But it died. This year, it just decided not to bloom, and I had to, I have to cut the dead sticks that were coming out of the ground there. And it was originally purchased, or the tag said standard plum. It was one of those shrubs, but it had these beautiful burgundy leaves during the year. It bloomed these very, very tiny white blooms, white flowers early in the spring. I mean, it was the perfect size, the perfect structure for that corner. And like I said, it didn't really give me any signs that it was getting sick with something. This year, it didn't come back. And I don't know if maybe that was the life of it. That was as much as it did. But I am sad because that corner almost feels like naked, almost feels like it's missing something. And I do currently have just the stakes that are coming out of the ground that are dead. I am debating what to put there because it needs to be in full sun. It needs to be a small shrub or small tree, and it needs to somewhat look good for most of the season. I have played with the idea of having some sort of evergreen there, something that it's taller rather than wider. I also play with the idea of having a planter. I have one of those corten steel planters that I can put one in the corner there and sort of match the front with the other corten steel planters that are around there. I don't know. And now I'm in that dangerous phase where I'm having a bunch of ideas every day. Every day I come out with something different there. I don't know what I want, so I'm not doing anything. I'm actually not at the time right now. I'm not at the point where I can actually put attention enough to work on that. I wish that I could just find the same shrub that I have there, honestly, big enough to put there, because the shrub that I originally put there, it was very small, and it took many, many years to get to the size that I love that it. In fact, it was one of those shrubs that I really could care less for the blooms, but I love the foliage. So I don't know. I still have to play with what I can do here. My husband does not like red buds, and he does not enjoy service berries. So those are out of the equation. If you're thinking of something that it's going to do well in my zone 6, well, it's actually zone 5. Honestly, it's everything that I buy for my garden has to be a zone 5 hardiness. I don't know. I would love to hear your thoughts if you have maybe some ideas of what I can put there. Like I said, I'm not in a hurry. Even though right now will be the perfect time for me to plant something there. Even if I do it in the fall, I just want to be somewhat happy with whatever I get for there. The feverfew bed is actually coming along really, really nice right now, you guys. And I'm very, very happy about it because at the beginning of the spring, when other perennials, when other things were starting to pop up enough for me to see, the feverfew wasn't looking that well. And I did have a bunch of feverfew there last year that I planted. And last year was my first year growing feverfew. So this second year, hoping for things to recede, hoping for the plants or the perennials to come back again from the root, I wasn't sure how all of that was going to go. And I just left the entire bed. I did not touch it. I did not add any compost whatsoever, even though I did that for the other 3 that are in that section. I left that area alone, and I started seeing signs of something coming up, definitely receding. I love feverfew, you guys. I could not get enough last year of the feverfew, and I decided that I was going to double the amount that that I had for feverfew. And a bunch of that section where that bed is right now, about half of it is reseeded from last year, and the other half is plants that I started from seed early this year, and they're doing amazing. I am so excited for the amount of feverfew that will come back, this year again. And the plan is going to be that for that whole section what I have right now of feverfew growing, I am going to let it go to seed, and next year I'm going to do the same thing. I am going to just let it come back. What I might do this year in the fall, though, I might just add some sort of compost on top of it so that it can have some sort of nutrients for the following spring. Also, something that I need to do now, because I'm looking at it right behind me and I know that it needs to get done, is cleaning up the hydrangea hedge, but just the bottom. That way the whole hedge looks like it has hydrangea trees growing on it instead of hydrangea bushes. I love to keep the bottom of my big shrubs that are there nice and clean so that I can grow other things around it. And right now I definitely have to keep up with the maintenance of it. It's just super easy. It doesn't take me a long time. It's just having to having to get down there and get rid of those with my pruners. But this is something that I have to do maybe twice during the growing season, sometime now at the beginning of June and sometime maybe even at the beginning of July for other things that might just come back from it. But other than that, my hydrangea hedge really doesn't require that much maintenance. I love that hedge. Has been there since 2016, so 10 years now. It's amazing to me how quickly those things grow, but keeping up with that maintenance is key. And that part is one of those projects that doesn't really sound exciting, but it makes a huge difference visually. I'm hoping that maybe I can do a quick video on that, just keeping up with the maintenance of the hydrangeas, and you'll see just how nicer and how cleaner they look after that. And when I recently planted those bushes, those hydrangea bushes, I did not do that part because the plants were really, really small. It wasn't until probably 3 to 4 years later, when the plants were really big and they started showing signs of just like taking over the space, that's when I started doing the whole cleaning bottom parts, like I say, once, twice a year, and just making sure they look great. Okay, I think that's enough garden rambling from one day. I have plenty of weeds to pull. I have plenty of things to plant. I have a lot of other things to do in the garden. I just hope that this video was helpful for you and it motivated you to go outside and do your own garden cleanup or organizing or whatever it is that you need to do, which I am sure it's plenty. Thank you for being here, you guys, and I will see you on the next time.